no good. Rebounded by Anthony. 2 seconds left. Anthony for the win. Cody rolls it. Cole Anthony gives the Magic a victory.
Close up Magic.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Close Up Magic. I'm your host, Steven Cameron, and I'm really psyched to talk basketball with you all. Full transparency before we get into it. I almost didn't record a podcast tonight. We had some guests lined up. We were going to do a really cool group roundtable discussion on the Magic's recent play and just get into some fun topics. But life was really crazy the last couple of days. And this afternoon, I canceled the podcast, was not planning on doing one at all this week and just doing the podcast next week. But ultimately, I found some time, and I can't leave you all hanging. So we're doing a solo show. It's just me. I'm recording this pretty late at night on the West Coast, so it's even later for you all on the East Coast. But we're getting it done, and hopefully you all enjoy the show. But it's going to be probably a little bit shorter and a little bit different than the norm. So before we get too into the podcast, just quick shout out. We'll get the housekeeping done. Check out our merch store if you want to help support us financially. You can also check out our Patreon. Both of those will be linked in the description below. And those are both ways if you would like to support the show in a bigger way and do a little monetary support. Patreon, probably number one, buying merch. Number two, those are both ways you can give back. If you enjoy it, we'd appreciate it. The next thing is, check out our Network 19 Media Group. They're constantly putting out good work, good podcast for you all to listen to. And then if you can, just go ahead and rate and review our shows. If you're listening to it, if you're on YouTube, love for you all to subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Trying to get that count up. We're getting a little bit closer to 300. Would love to get there sooner than later. So appreciate y'all if you could just hit that subscribe button. Give it a thumbs up and like it while you're at it too. So announcement. Most of y'all know I live on the West Coast. My family's still all in Orlando. Coming back to Florida in a couple days. Going to the Magic versus Spurs game. I'll be there for my first in-person game in quite a while in Amway Center. It's been a couple of years. So very much looking forward to going to that. But announcement. I want to meet all of you. Any of you that are available and want to show up, I'm going to be at Harry Buffalo's with a bunch of our friends. CJ, our reporter that you've seen on the show, Pat, who's been on the show, Jonathan. A big group of us are going to meet at Harry Buffalo's at 5:00 and then work our way over to the game for tip-off at 7. So would love to have you. We're not like officially like partnering with Harry Buffalo's or anything like that, but just show up. We're going to like have some fun, have some drinks, maybe eat some appetizers, but just like relax and talk basketball and get psyched. I'd love to meet any and all of you. So if you're local and are going to go to the game particularly, but if you're not even going to the game, want to stop by, hit up Harry Buffalo's at 5:00 on Friday. And I'd love to meet you. Come look out for me. I'll be wearing a black Magic hat. I just bought the new City Edition hat. I'm psyched. So come find us. All right. So let's get into it. The Magic. I'm recording this on December 20th, Tuesday. Just yesterday, they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. Last time I spoke with you, we had just come off our wins on the two Toronto Raptors games. So since then, we've beaten the Hawks. We beat the Celtics twice, and then we just lost to the Hawks. So those are our 4 last games, all of them on the road. And then they play the Houston Rockets on Wednesday, probably the time you're listening to this. And that's the last of this 4-game road trip. And it's been really great, so the back-to-back games versus Boston, well, the series games, they weren't physically played back-to-back. Those are both really good games for the Magic. On the road versus one of the best teams in the NBA right now. Magic don't have a full roster, but full enough. There's still no Wendell Carter. There's still no Jalen Suggs. Gary Harris is out. It's just this team is really coming together, and it's really exciting right now. And those two games in particular are games that you see it. They got a lead, held on to the lead, kept the Boston Celtics, were in fighting distance, most of the game, but, they just really held on to their own, and it was just really, really impressive. Let's just throw up the box score for the Sunday game. And I don't remember this game right up, like crystal clear. So yeah, I'm gonna do some box scoring right now. But like in that game, this is the last Celtics game. Paolo went off for 31 points. All right. That's when he hit 6 of 7 3-pointers, and was really just like being the young superstar that he already is in every moment of that game. His defense has just been unreal. I know a lot of people, it's not like amazing, right? But like, it's so much more improved than it was at the start of the season. A lot of the questions that we thought were going to be an issue with him going into this year from college, at least for some people, was defensively. And during the 6-game winning streak, we really saw him and the team just kind of crank down defensively. And I think that shows when you hold one of the like record offensive rating teams ever, the Boston Celtics, to 92 points, and you still win, that's pretty impressive. I just feel like defensively and offensively, the team is communicating pretty well right now, and it's been a lot of fun. Now, the Atlanta Hawks game was a little bit different. I didn't get to watch this game super close. Like I said, life's been crazy, so I was catching up in other ways. But the Magic when I turned it on, I think beginning of the fourth, they were down significantly, like big teens. And then I'm doing some dishes, checking on. There's a few minutes left, and the Magic are within a point. And they went on this crazy run. I think it was like a 13-0 run to get back into the game. And then all of a sudden, I think there's like 6 or 7 seconds left, and Markelle Fultz just basically does a layup to bring the game for the Magic to take the lead, by 1 point. Then there's a play where the Hawks have the ball, I think with about 6 seconds left. And Paolo is guarding DeJounte Murray. DeJounte shoots a 3. Paolo fouls him on the 3. It was a foul. He hit his hand, unfortunately. And, so they go up, and the Magic just don't end up winning the game. But long story less long, the fight that the Magic had to get back into this game when they could have given up, when maybe a few weeks ago they would have given up, just really shows you that they're making a lot of growth as we see. And it's just phenomenal. You're seeing Franz and Paolo really be the players they should be. Like I said, Franz had 31 points the other day. Paolo had 31 points the other day. Franz last night had 19 points, and 7 rebounds the other night, and was a +9 versus the Hawks. You really have Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony making their impact as point guards, stabilizing the team. Markelle Fultz alone during the Hawks game should tell you, offensively, he was awesome with 24 points, but he also had 9 assists. And what Markelle does is he's a stabilizer. He slows things down. He's a half-court basketball player. He can play in transition, don't get me wrong, but he likes to slow it down and do his job in the half court. And it really is like a stabilizing presence, even if his shot isn't falling, just him being there, getting guys in the right positions and putting the ball where it needs to be allows his team to operate. During the 6-game run, there was a couple of games where Fultz was not all that impressive, like scoring wise, but just him being there allowed the team to operate much more efficiently on the offensive side. But personally, I think where Markelle has made his biggest impact, at least as far as his leap from last year to this year was when he, like, just defensively, he's so much better at point of attack defense right now. He seems a little bit quicker. Not that he was a bad defender before, but he just seems better. There's really no other way to say it. Like, I always thought of him more of a better team defender than a point of attack defender. And now he's kind of like doing both at a really high level. And it's just been really fun to see. And the Magic are being successful because of it. So, it's funny. After the Celtics first win, Eddie House, who is a ex-Celtics player, was on the championship team with them, and is on their media team somehow. And he was a little salty. He basically, what he was trying to say was the Magic got this win, but they're ultimately still not a good team because they have, I think at that point, 10 wins, right? But instead of articulating it in a professional way, he used the word garbage. He said the Magic are a garbage team with 10 wins. Yes, Eddie, the Magic have struggled for this season. We are probably not a playoff team this year. We are a young team that is in the middle of a rebuild. So yeah, the record not being great is kind of not unexpected. You could have made your point in so many other ways other than using the word garbage. That triggered everyone on Magic Twitter. And it, well deserved. I mean, like, you shouldn't use the word garbage to describe a team as a professional broadcaster at this point, and he did. And man, so there's this time during I think it was the 2008 series, or maybe 2009. I don't remember exactly, but no, it's 2009. Sorry, Rafer Alston slaps Eddie House in the back of the head. I think it was during Game 1, and man, so it turned into a GIF, and that GIF just made its circles around the entire NBA community of the Orlando Magic. And Eddie House was just, he did not take it very well. He was chirping back at the Magic fans, calling us classless and doesn't feel like family. On the next time he appeared on air after the second win when the Magic won, instead of just like, he just sounded like a little whiny bitch, to be quite honest with you. And so then that just turned the Magic into, the Magic fandom just like crazy. All the Magic players, Terrence Ross, Wendell Carter, Cole Anthony, I can't remember the other, Markelle Fultz maybe, I think too. There's like 5 Magic players that all tweeted that GIF too. It was really funny. And instead of doubling down or instead of like just owning it that he's getting owned, he decided to pull out his jersey, put his championship rings on it, and take a photo, and just told the Magic fans to talk to him when we have that. It's just like, just kept taking the L and not knowing how to own it. It's pretty funny. So anyways, that's kind of 7 games, 6-game winning streak with a few seconds loss, unfortunately. A fair game though. We have some exciting games, some very winnable games too. Tomorrow, Wednesday, probably when you're hearing the Rockets in Houston, very winnable game. Then on Friday, we are playing the San Antonio Spurs again. Go to Harry Buffalo's at 5:00. Come hang out with us. Have a pregame drink with us. But yeah, Friday versus the Spurs. So that's exciting. I'll be at that game. I'm really looking forward to it. Wendell Carter should be back for that game. That's really exciting. And hopefully Gary Harris will be making his way back in the next couple of games soon. The 27th, we have the Lakers. Anthony Davis is out for a month. He is, without him, that makes that team really potentially another winnable game. That's in Orlando too. And then, to round out December, Magic at the Pistons, and then The last game of the year is Washington Wizards coming to Orlando. So in the next 5 games, a lot of those are very winnable. We could even go one more game. The first game of the new year is versus the Thunder in Orlando. Another very winnable games. The next 6 games are all winnable. So I don't know if I'm going to expect another 6-game winning streak, but we should be able to win at least 3 out of the 6, if not, 4 out of those 6 games. That'd be really nice for this Magic team. They're making progress. They have a lot of really good chemistry and energy going on right now, and I just think we should hold them to a higher standard. If they don't win at least 3 of those games, I'm gonna be pretty upset. The Wizards are a sneaky good team. Lakers have LeBron. You can never count him out. And we've lost to some of these teams earlier, and the Magic are still a young team, so things could happen. Thunder are really good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is like crushing it right now. Probably going to be an all-star this year. But yeah, I don't know. Those are some games I'm psyched on because the Magic have a chance to really improve. But I think there is a question. Should the Magic go for the play-in, or should they can at some point shift their focus back to the lottery? And I'm not saying go lose on purpose, but give some of these younger guys a run, like get Caleb Houston in the lineup a little bit more and just kind of start experimenting. I don't expect them to do that right now, but maybe towards the end of the season. And that's if they're not in the play-in conversation. I just think I don't think they should focus on the lottery, particularly on the higher side of it. This team is young. They have 2 of their pillars right now, potentially more depending on how people feel on Markelle Fultz, who is obviously a really good basketball player, and Wendell Carter. There is discussion. Do they still need to go find that third piece? There's a lot of wondering if who we have at the shooting guard is the future. Can Jalen Suggs be that guard of the future that we need? I'm not sure. His catch and shoot numbers are awful. He seems to be a more successful on ball. And at this point, I want someone who can play well on and off ball. But Suggs is such a good defender, and there's some really good potential in this draft, particularly in those top 5 picks, to kind of help secure that spot. And so it is sort of tempting every now and then to think, should we try it one more year to get one more good pick? But then you think about all our draft capital. We have 2 first-round picks this year, depending on where the Bulls picks lands. We have extra draft pick coming up in 2025 with the Denver Nuggets. We have all of our own first-round picks going forward and tons of second-round picks. So you could make a trade to go after someone if the right person shakes loose, and shore up in smaller ways with some trades with Terrence Ross or Mo Bamba. You have Gary Harris with the team-controlled contract too. You could dangle some younger players like Chumo Kiki, potentially Cole Anthony if the right person shakes loose. And so then it's okay, do you do a bigger win? So I don't know. I'm pretty confident that focusing on the lottery is not a direction that the team should take anymore, particularly after this winning streak that they had. I still don't know if they're going to make the play-in. If anything, I'd say they probably don't. But I do think that playing in meaningful games will be more valuable at this point, and will actually show the front office that if they can keep hanging, that they should be more aggressive in helping build this team through trade and free agency, where they have a lot of opportunity to make to have a lot of cap spaces coming up here. I think it's around $36 million in cap space they have. They could even create more if they wanted to. So they have a lot of opportunity. And that's kind of the direction I'm leaning. But let me know your thoughts. Should they focus on the lottery? Go try and get Scoot? Go try and get Wemby? Maybe a Thompson? Or should they focus on trying to make the play-in and maybe making some improvements through free agency and drafts, potentially being somewhat of buyers instead of sellers? Let me know what you think. All right, let's talk about All-Stars for a second. The Magic have 2 guys that I think you should go vote for All-Stars. Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero, they have the stats to back it up. I don't know if they're going to make it. They might be snubs this year. Maybe if there's enough injuries, they can get in as an injury exception. But let's just look at the numbers real quick. Paulo Banchero, he's averaging basically 22, 7 and 4, 22 points a game, 7 rebounds, really 6.6, but I like to round up, and 4 assists per game. He just had a 31-point game win over Boston Celtics. He's had, I think, 3 30-point games already. He has more 20 and 10 games than anyone else in his the entire rookie class combined. He has more single 20 and 10 games than you put that entire class together. So he's just really the clear-cut rookie of the year and making an impact. He's averaging over 20 points a game on a team that is starting to figure it out and starting to make some noise. I mean, I've heard multiple podcasts in the last 24 hours talk about the Orlando Magic on a national media level in a positive way, which as Magic fans, we're not used to. It was really nice listening to the Mismatch and the Low Post talk about the Orlando Magic recently. And so Paulo Banchero is one of those reasons. Another one of those reasons is Franz Wagner. He's just crushing it as well. He's had to play point guard at the beginning of the year, so we got to really see his on-ball offensive creation and quarterbacking the team kind of get more established and grow. It was a little rough in the beginning, but he was starting to get better at it as the season was progressing. Now that we have Fultz back, he's back to showing off his smart cutting, playing off ball, just shooting off movement. It's been a pleasure watching him grow and solidify himself as one of the best players from his draft class, which we all knew, but it's even more clear now with Scotty Barnes having a bad year. I still think Scotty's going to be a really good basketball player, so I'm not hating on him like half of Magic Twitter. He's up there. I would put him right up there neck and neck with Evan Mobley right now. Evan Mobley is obnoxiously good, but so is Franz right now. I don't think it's fair to really include him better than Cade. Cade is out for the year, and Cade is a phenomenal basketball player, but he's just such a good player. So I feel like those are 2 names that you should go vote for right now. You can vote for Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero on the NBA website. There's multiple ways you can vote for All-Stars right now. The more times you vote, I think you can vote daily for them. The more chances they have at making some noise in this class, in this All-Star year. So go vote for the guys, and let's see if we can get them on the ballot. All right, short episode, little rough. It's always a little weird when it's just me. I don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of, but I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. I wanted to give you guys something to enjoy this week. We have a really good podcast for you all next week. We pre-recorded it. It's totally about Magic basketball, but the content is a little bit more timeless. We're not really going to be breaking down current games, but we are going to be talking about really important things that highly affect this Magic roster going forward. So make sure that you tune into next week, particularly when you need a break from the family activities or if you're traveling on an airplane. It'll probably come out Monday. So I look forward to y'all listening to that. Thank you for supporting this episode, and I hope you all have a great Christmas, great Hanukkah, whatever holiday you are celebrating. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.